So an Army Ranger, a Recon Marine, a SEAL, and a Delta operator are sitting around a campfire. Here we go. The Ranger, being a Ranger, starts bragging about how tough he is. "You think you guys are tough?" he says. "I've parachuted behind enemy lines, done a 50-mile night march, and killed a dozen terrorists with my bare hands." The Recon Marine is like, "Man, that ain't shit. I've landed on a beach in the dark, marched 60 miles without stopping, and killed 50 terrorists with my bare hands."
Marines can talk? I call bullshit.
Anyway, the SEAL is like, "Bitch, please. I've swam 70 miles from a submarine, landed on a beach, marched 80 miles without stopping, and then strangled a whole damn terrorist camp with my bare hands." The SEAL gives him all this big shit-eating grin and turns to the Delta operator. "Top that," he says. The Delta guy doesn't say a word. He just shakes his head and keeps on stirring the coals of the fire with his dick. So these two Marines board a flight to Houston.
Marines and planes. This ought to be good.
No sooner had they settled down into their seats than an Army corporal comes down the aisle and took the seat next to them. So the corporal settles in, pulls off his boots, and gets comfortable. Now the two Marines take one look at this guy and decide they're gonna have a little fun. After the plane's in the air, the Marine in the window seat turns to the corporal. "Hey buddy," he says, "you mind grabbing a drink for me?" "No problem," the Army guy says, and hops up to get a drink from the flight attendant. While he's gone, the Marine takes one of the corporal's boots and spits in.
That's just nasty.
The corporal comes back with the Marine's drink. He's just getting comfortable again when the second Marine grins and says, "Hey man, that drink sure looks good. You mind getting one for me too?" And you know what? The corporal just grins. "You bet," he says, and hops right on up. As soon as he's gone, the Marine grabs the other boot and hawks a big old loogie right inside. The Marines sit back and enjoy their drinks now. A couple hours later, the bird touches down and the corporal pulls on his boots. But right away, he knows what's happened. He turns to the jarheads, who are both giving him these shit-eating grins. How long must this go on? This hatred, this animosity, this spitting in boots and pissing in drinks. So there's this Army Ranger on leave out in my neck of the woods, and he decided he wanted to get himself a pair of alligator boots. But you know, we're talking a Ranger here. He wasn't going to go to no shoe store. No, he gets himself a knife and heads out to the bayou to get him a gator and make some boots for himself. So he gets off the highway and heads back into the country and finds a little old bait shop near the edge of the swamp. He asks the man where he can find himself a gator, and the man gives him directions into the bayou.
This doesn't end with banjo music, does it?
Just let me tell the story, okay? Anyway, the guy at the bait shop says, "Look here, while you're out there, keep an eye out for these two Marines I sent in a couple days ago. They were after gator boots too, and they should have been back by now." Ranger says he'll keep an eye out for him, and heads into the bayou. He follows the man's directions and heads way out into the swamp. When he gets to where he's going, sure enough, he sees these two Marines standing up to their waists in the water. Over on the shore nearby, there's like 20 dead gators in the mud. Now, as the Ranger watches the gator swim up to the Marines, this jarhead jumps on the gator and kills it with his knife, drags it up on the shore, flips it over, and looks at the gator's feet. He said, "Damn it! This one ain't got on no boots either." Hey, did you hear the Pentagon had too many generals, so they decided to get rid of some of them?
It's about damn time.
Well, somebody with the Joint Chiefs came up with the idea of offering $10,000 of severance pay for each inch of the general's body. The generals could be measured any way they chose. An Air Force general goes first. He's a smart guy, so he says he wants to be measured from head to toe. They measure him and come up with 70 inches, so he accepts a severance of $700,000. Next up was an Army general. This guy says he wants to be measured from the tip of his right finger to the tip of his left finger. The measurement comes out to 80 inches. The Army general smiles and takes a severance of $800,000. So the two generals are mighty damn pleased with themselves. But this Marine general's been watching the whole thing, and after a couple minutes, he steps up and says, "You pukes are gonna measure me from the tip of my dick to the bottom of my balls."
Man, Marine generals are kinky.
The men doing the measuring are confused. "Sir, are you sure you understand how this works?" "Just do it, maggot," the Marine general barks, and then he drops his trousers. Well, the two men get out the measuring tape, they steel their courage, and they get to work. So they start at the tip of his dick, but as they work their way down, they see the general's got no balls.
Plot twist.
One of the men says, "Sir, where are your balls?" "Left them back in Vietnam."